Every city has stories whispered about its last train of the night. For Tyler, it was the ride home from an empty platform at 1 in the morning. But he discovered some passengers never leave. Welcome back, everyone, to Stories That Shouldn't Be Told. Tonight's episode is about a night shift worker, a woman who should not exist, and the last train you should never board. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and share it with anyone who loves a good scare. Your support keeps the stories alive. Now, let's begin. Tyler used to work the night shift at a small diner downtown until what happened to him 6 months ago. He was 24 years old and would usually catch the last train home around 1 in the morning after his shift ended. The older kitchen staff used to joke about the last train ghost, but Tyler never paid attention to those stories. The station was always completely empty at that hour, just Tyler making his way home through the deserted underground tunnels. This particular night felt different though. As Tyler walked down the concrete steps into the underground station, he noticed how unusually quiet it was. Not even the usual homeless guy who sleeps near the vending machines was there. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, making this awful buzzing sound that seemed to echo off the tiled walls. On one of the support pillars, someone had spray painted "She Waits" in faded red letters. Tyler sat down on one of the metal benches to wait for the train and pulled out his phone to check the time. The silence pressed against his ears, thicker than the underground air itself. That's when he heard it. Footsteps coming down the stairs behind him. Slow, deliberate footsteps that seemed to pause every few steps, like whoever it was might be listening or watching. Tyler glanced back, but didn't see anyone. The footsteps stopped completely. Tyler spun around, and there was this woman standing maybe 3 feet behind him. She looked to be in her 30s with long dark hair that hung in front of her face. She was wearing a torn grey coat, and her shoes were muddy like she'd been walking through puddles. Under the flickering station lights, something seemed off about her shadow. It moved a fraction of a second behind her, like it was struggling to keep up. She asked Tyler if he knew what time the next train would arrive. He told her this was the last one of the night and she could get on with him. She smiled, but something about it made Tyler's skin crawl. Her teeth were stained, and when she spoke, Tyler could smell something rotten on her breath. She thanked him and said she'd been waiting for someone like him to help her. The train pulled into the station with its usual screech of metal on metal. The doors opened and Tyler stepped inside the first car. The woman followed him and sat directly across from him. The entire car was empty except for the two of them. As the train started moving, Tyler noticed she kept staring at him. She didn't blink, not once. Every time he looked up from his phone, she was just staring with this blank expression. After about 5 minutes, she stood up and walked to the back of the car. Tyler thought maybe she was going to move to a different car, but instead, she just stood there facing the wall. She hummed off-key, the sound cracking like static and rising until it buzzed inside his skull. The empty car felt even more ominous with just Tyler and this strange woman. She kept making that awful humming sound, and Tyler could see that her fingernails were long and dirty with what looked like dried blood underneath them. Tyler jumped up and moved quickly to the next car through the connecting door. He looked back through the window and saw her standing in the middle of the aisle, just swaying back and forth alone in that empty car. The train stopped at the next station, and Tyler watched through the window as the few doors opened to an empty platform. But the woman didn't get off. Instead, she opened the connecting door and started walking toward Tyler's car. Tyler moved again to the next car, and then the next one. Each time she followed him with that same jerky marionette movement. By now, Tyler was in the last car of the train, and there was nowhere else to go. The woman appeared in the doorway and started walking toward him. She was making these clicking sounds with her tongue, and her head was tilted at an unnatural angle. Tyler pressed the emergency call button, but nothing happened. He banged on the conductor's door, but no one answered. She got closer and closer until she was standing right in front of Tyler. Up close, he could see that her skin was gray, and there were dark veins visible underneath like a road map. She reached out with those long, dirty fingernails and grabbed Tyler's wrist. Her grip was ice cold and impossibly strong. She leaned in close to Tyler's ear and whispered that she'd been riding this train for years, waiting for the right person to take her place. She said Tyler was perfect and that no one would miss him. Her breath felt like cold air from a morgue, and Tyler could smell decay and something sweet and sickening. Tyler managed to break free from her grip and ran toward the emergency brake handle. He pulled it as hard as he could, and the train came to a screeching halt in the middle of the tunnel. The lights went out completely, and they were in total darkness. Tyler could hear her laughing somewhere in the car, but he couldn't tell where she was. The car bled in red shadows, every surface glowing like flesh. Tyler spun, heart hammering, but she was gone, just gone. The connecting doors were still closed, and there was nowhere she could have disappeared to. Tyler was completely alone in the car. Tyler heard banging on the door from the conductor, who was asking what the emergency was. He tried to explain what happened, but it sounded crazy even to him. The conductor reset the train, and they continued to Tyler's stop. When Tyler got off, he looked back through all the windows of the train as it pulled away. In the last car, he could see a figure standing in the aisle waving at him. Tyler never took that train again. He started taking an earlier train home, even though it meant leaving work before his shift ended. A few weeks later, Tyler saw a news report about a missing person. It was a photo of a young man about Tyler's age who had disappeared while taking the late train home from work. The report mentioned the missing man lived alone with no close family. In the security footage from the station, you could see him getting on the train alone. Tyler called the police and told them his story, but he didn't think they believed him. The missing man was never found, and the case went cold. Sometimes Tyler still wonders if she's still riding that last train, looking for someone new to take with her into whatever darkness she came from. Someone else who no one would miss. And that was the end of tonight's story. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that should never be told. And tell me in the comments, would you ever ride the last train home alone? Your support keeps these nightmares alive. And remember, on some platforms, she always waits. Until next time, sleep well if you can.